Welcome to the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction Postgame Show, where the Sacramento Kings fall to the Denver Nuggets by a final of 122 to 111. I am James Ham, and I'm flying solo today. No Mr. Rui Thomas. He's out of town. Got to do this thing on my own, which is a little different, a little rare. So let's get right to it. The Sacramento Kings are now 27-53 on the season, 9-19 under George Karl. No DeMarcus Cousins, who has been shut down for the remainder of the season with a sore right foot. No Rudy Gay, who has been shut down for the remainder of the season while he sits in the NBA's concussion protocol. No Darren Collison. No Reggie Evans. We could keep naming Kings that did not play tonight. The fact is the Kings did have some healthy bodies, and they played well for about 3 quarters and then fell apart. Let's get to the nuts and bolts. Tonight, Omri Casspi. Omri Casspi has been an absolute star for the Sacramento Kings as far as dollar for contract. I mean, this guy is on a league minimum contract on the season. He has been very good when healthy. And over the last couple of weeks, while he is starting alongside DeMarcus Cousins and Rudy Gay, or starting without either one or the other of those or both, he's even proven to be better than we thought. Tonight, 22 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. He did turn the ball over 4 times. Look, Omri Casspi loves Sacramento. He talks about it all the time. This is his home away from home. His real home being Israel. He would like to remain in Sacramento. I'm sure he would probably be a $2 to $4 million a year player here for the Sacramento Kings, and I am pretty sure that the Kings would like him back as well. George Karl really relied on Omri Casspi down the stretch. He's a player that kind of fits the system that he wants to play. He's a fast player. He's a guy who likes to leak out. He can rebound. He can play a little bit of defense, although his defense did struggle down the stretch as minutes improved. So I think that Omri Casspi is back next season. We got 2 more games of Omri starting and getting to see what he can do as sort of a lead player for this team. He will not be a lead player next year, but off the bench or even as a starter, if Rudy Gay permanently moves to the 4, I think you can really get some honest to goodness minutes out of Omri Casspi going forward. Ben McLemore. McLemore's had a rough stretch. The second-year guard has really struggled defensively down the stretch. I think he had a string of 6 straight games where he yielded 20 points to his opponent. Every night he's getting lit up, but tonight he showed some things. He looked good. He looked solid. 20 points, 7 assists, career high 7 assists, 5 rebounds, a career high 4 steals. He did turn over the ball 4 times, much like Casspi. The team turned over the ball 20 times total, which is never good. But it's sort of a hallmark of the 2014-2015 Sacramento Kings. McLemore is improving. You can see it every game, and it's something that Kings fans should be happy. They should be happy that they get to see him coming into next season with yet another offseason under his belt. He's a guy who really works hard. He's always there at the practice facility. He did work really hard last summer to improve his handles. He's starting to show a little flash to the rim over the last couple of weeks. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table next season for this Kings team. And still, McLemore's only 22 years old, which is really, and in basketball years, he's even younger than that. He's a guy who really only played 1 year of true high school ball, 1 year of college ball. And so now he's got 2 years of NBA experience. Again, one cool thing about Ben McLemore is he doesn't miss games. He's a guy who's extremely durable, despite the fact that he's a high flyer. Young, springy legs, and he likes to bounce back. Ray McCallum, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists tonight. McCallum has really earned his minutes as well. I'm impressed with McCallum each and every time he comes out because he is kind of a floor general. He's a guy who makes a pass that leads to a pass. He may not be a 7 or 8 assist guy. He's not Andre Miller yet, although those two have been working together to try to improve his game. Ray McCallum has been really solid all this time with Darren Collison out, and I think he's earned another shot. Clearly, he should open next season as the Kings' number 2 point guard, unless some major changes happen over the summer, which of course we do expect. But McCallum is very, very inexpensive for one more year under a rookie deal that he signed 2 years ago. Derrick Williams, 13 points, goes back to his Coke machine rebounding number, 3 rebounds in 29 minutes. This guy's got to find some consistency. I know that George Karl hates the fall-away jumper. He hates the 3-point attempts from Derrick Williams. He likes him as a catch-and-shoot 3-point guy, but he wants Derrick Williams going at the rim. Tonight, I think Williams did an okay job, but again, just no rebounding numbers at all. Andre Miller, he could have 2 games left in his professional career. He's 39 years old. The Kings would like to have him back next season. He would like to be back in Sacramento next season as like a third guard. He would like to play till he's 40 years old. We'll see if that happens or not. So either Andre Miller is on his last 2 games or he's getting close to that final season. Tonight, Andre Miller, 9 points, 3 assists. He's a solid veteran. You saw him use his savviness against Ty Lawson and against the other point guards that the Denver Nuggets ran at them. Ryan Hollins came off the bench. I always find this strangely surprising. Ryan Hollins is actually not that bad offensively when he's rolling to the rim. I know the Kings like to have a guy who is splashing to the hoop. That's a George Karl staple. He always has that guy who's running at the rim. And I was surprised that Ryan Hollins didn't get more of a look this season in that role. He does finish tonight with 10 points and 5 rebounds in 17 minutes. He's getting some action because, of course, no Sim Bular. Bular's 10-day contract ended yesterday. Sacramento Kings did not retain him for a second 10-day contract. Again, no Reggie Evans. He's got a wrist issue. And no DeMarcus Cousins, again, sore foot. So Ryan Hollins is the de facto backup center behind Jason Thompson. Thompson had an all right game, nothing to write home about, still forces things a little bit. And on the defensive end, anyone that the Kings put out there against Kenneth Faried got absolutely embarrassed. We'll get to that when we get to our MVP talk in just a few minutes. So let's get to our 3 keys to the game tonight. The first key is who will slow Gallinari. Danilo Gallinari has been struggling mightily. No, he's been tearing it up. He has struggled in the past with injuries, but this was a season that he sort of started out slow. We've seen huge things from him down the stretch. 47 points the other night against the Dallas Mavericks. He's a exciting shooter. He's a guy who can really score. He does look like an extra from Justified. He came out with lamb chops, some greasy-looking hair. I'm not quite sure what's going on because he's usually Euro GQ. But tonight, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in 34 minutes for Gallinari. The Kings did an okay job of guarding him. The fact is, he really didn't have to be the main scoring guy. Again, Faried, Wilson Chandler, all of these guys had good nights offensively. I mean, the Kings yielded 122 points to the Denver Nuggets. Gallinari did what he needed to do to be a good teammate. So that's kind of how we'll stick with the Gallinari piece for tonight. The second key is a fight for the 6th pick. This was actually really interesting. Denver finishes their season with matchups against the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors on the road. And there's a mad dash for this final week in the playoffs. And I could easily have seen Denver, if the Kings would have lost to Denver today, that would have given the Kings 28 wins, and Denver would have sat there right at 29 wins. The Kings have back-to-back games against the Los Angeles Lakers. Both are very winnable. The Nuggets could easily have lost all 3 games, and the Kings could have won all 3 games, and the Kings could have moved backwards in the draft, which is not something they would like to do. A loss tonight pretty much solidifies the Kings as the 6th spot in the draft lottery. It will be up to ping pong balls to say whether they go 1 through 3 or, heaven forbid, fall down, I think, as far as 9, as far as they could fall. But they should be right around that 6-7 range like they typically are year in and year out in the draft lottery. All right, let's get to our third key to the game. David Stockton sighting. All right, no Sim Bular, and that is because the Sacramento Kings signed David Stockton to a multi-year deal. Let me kind of explain what's going on here. The Kings, basically what they did here is a futures contract. They signed David Stockton for the remainder of this year, which is 3 games, which costs them nothing, pennies on the dollar. And it helps them retain the rights to David Stockton going forward. Stockton will come to training camp with Sacramento Kings. Likely, he will most likely also go to Las Vegas and play for the Kings at Summer League. This is kind of a good way to hold on to a player who did really, really well in the developmental league. He finished the season over 20 points, 9.4 assists, 2.5 steals. Very, very impressive number. Shot 46% from the field, over right at 40% from behind the arc. Problem that David Stockton has is that an offseason isn't going to help him grow 2 or 3 inches, and that's really what he needs. He is not his father. He is a very, very lightweight 5'10", 5'11" with shoes, maybe 155, 160 pounds. They list him at 165, and I highly doubt that. I've spent enough time with him in the locker room in Sacramento. He probably should not walk around media without his shoes on. It makes him look absolutely tiny. But he does score 2 points, hands out an assist. He played 7 minutes tonight. He had a beautiful alley-oop pass to Ben McLemore. He had another one late that could have easily been handled by Ryan Hollins for a dunk. He's a good little speedster. You know, he really goes at it. And, you know, I don't know. I don't think he's an NBA prospect, but you never really know. All right, so let's get to our MVP talk of the night. Kenneth Faried, the Manimal, he was absolutely spectacular. He finishes with 30 points, 7 rebounds. You go, oh, only 7 rebounds. Well, he shot a 12 of 14 from the field. I mean, he was all over the court. The Kings had no answer for him at all. Again, like Gallinari, he really didn't need to score more than that. He could have gone for 40 very easily if the Sacramento Kings would have held this game close in the fourth quarter. They did not. They really fell apart in the third quarter after a brilliant charge in the second quarter. So Kings really made a nice move in the second, going to halftime, down by, I think, just one. It's 60-59. And then they fall apart in the third quarter. Again, a hallmark of the 2014-2015 Sacramento Kings. All right, well, we're almost to the end of our season. We are getting down to crunch time. We only have a whopping 2 games left, both against Los Angeles Lakers. Monday night at home against, again, the Lakers. Wednesday night in Los Angeles. And that will do it for this 2014-15 season. We'll have to see what happens with everybody coming into this offseason. Should be a massive season of change. Front office change already underway. Player change is clear that it's coming. So it's going to be a wild couple of weeks and months leading up to the draft, free agency, and training camp next October. So that is going to do it for this almost last edition of the Cowbell Kingdom Road Reaction postgame show. Again, no Rui Thomas tonight. He was out of town, but he will be back for Wednesday's finale. That will be our final Road Reaction postgame show of the season. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you on Wednesday night.